Our in-depth coverage of the Charlottesville protest attack continues now. As reaction continues to pour in from around the globe, we're hearing from one man who was on his way to attend the protest.
This as we learn more about an upcoming demonstration scheduled in our area. Eyewitness News reporter Steph Machado has the details live from the mobile newsroom.
Some of the counter-protesters who showed up to oppose the white supremacists in Charlottesville were from Black Lives Matter. We spoke to the local leader of that group here to get his perspective on the deadly protests. Brother Gary Dantzler was watching along with America as white supremacy groups clashed with counter-protesters in Charlottesville, Virginia over the weekend.
It's overwhelming. You know, the country's suffering something really big and bad right now.
The Black Lives Matter spokesperson was planning to attend the counter-protest in Virginia, but had to turn back after a mishap with the group's funding for the trip.
I wanted to be a part of history to defend our country.
He says he was dismayed at President Donald Trump's initial response on Saturday to the violence because he referenced bigotry on many sides.
The sides are clearly not the same. You know, we stand for justice, empowering, and education. They stand for hatred, murder, and mayhem.
The president today taking a tougher stance, denouncing the hate groups.
Racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists.
In the wake of all this, another right-wing group is planning a rally this weekend in Boston. Calling it the Free Speech Rally, many are concerned those same types of hate groups will attend. Boston's mayor telling them not to come.
Boston does not welcome you here. Boston does not want you here. Boston rejects your message.
And according to the Southern Poverty Law Center, there is at least one neo-Nazi group based in Rhode Island, but we've seen no indication that anything is planned to happen here. Now, coming up new at 6, we speak to a civil rights historian who tells us why he wasn't surprised at what happened over the weekend and also the solution he's proposing. Live in Providence, I'm Steph Machado, Eyewitness News.
But first at 6, continuing coverage of the deadly attack on protesters in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Tonight, Charlottesville's police chief says they are still receiving reports of assaults 2 days after clashes between white supremacists and counter-protesters ended with one woman dead and more than a dozen injured.
Here's the latest tonight. 20-year-old James Alex Fields Jr., the man accused of driving into a crowd of protesters on Saturday, is being held without bail. He appeared in court by video this morning and did not enter a plea. He's charged with second-degree murder for the death of a 32-year-old woman and numerous other charges.
Outside the courthouse, things heated up again when white supremacists tried to argue that they were defending themselves from the violence. Counter-protesters shouted them down, chanting, "Nazis go home." Following mounting criticism, President Donald Trump today condemned the hate groups behind the unrest and said those responsible for the violence will be held accountable.
Racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and other hate groups that are repugnant to everything we hold dear as Americans.
This afternoon, Boston Mayor Marty Walsh and Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker addressed concerns about a free speech rally planned for their city this coming Saturday. Mayor Walsh says the group behind the rally has not filed for any permits. The organizers of the rally say they had nothing to do with Charlottesville, but Mayor Walsh and Governor Baker made it clear that white supremacist groups are not welcome.
There is no place here for that type of hatred, period, that we saw in Virginia.
We are a city that believes in free speech, but we will not tolerate sentiments to violence. We will not tolerate threatening behavior. We will not have it.
What happened in Charlottesville this weekend is sadly just the latest chapter in a struggle that's gone on for decades.
Eyewitness News reporter Steph Machado spoke to a local civil rights historian about what happened. She continues our live team coverage now from the Providence mobile newsroom.
Well, there's been plenty of outcry about the white supremacists and their message, including from one man here in Providence who has long fought for civil rights, even marched for them. Ray Rickman sent a letter to the governor of Virginia today that he says he wishes he sent last week.
I suggested to him that he give Robert E. Lee the statue to the people organizing the rally. That or put it in a museum where people can see it.
Rickman just opened this Black History exhibit called Stages of Freedom in downtown Providence and is a former politician and activist and considers himself a civil rights historian. He says Saturday's violence in Charlottesville is nothing new.
I don't know what's the saddest, that this kind of activity continues in this nation, or that people are surprised every time it happens.
The white supremacy groups, including neo-Nazis and Klansmen, rallied in Charlottesville over that Robert E. Lee statue, which is slated to be taken down.
It belongs in the trash bin of history.
Rickman thinks more clashes could be avoided if some middle ground is found.
Take it out of the public park where it's honorific and put it in the museum or give it to them.
And Rickman said he doesn't know if anyone can change the minds of white supremacists, but he says the goal of local leaders and police should be to try and prevent their actions before more people are hurt or killed. Live in Providence, I'm Steph Machado, Eyewitness News.